You're listening to Inge Reads the Marshall's Handbook, July 2020 edition. My name is Ingegerd. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, or complaints regarding this reading or recording of it, you may feel free to reach out to me. I reside in the Kingdom of Atlantia. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints regarding the rules or policies, please check with your individual kingdom's rules and policies, the most up-to-date handbook, as well as check with your local marshal for more details. Now, I'm going to begin with Roman numeral 18, and I'm also going to read Roman numeral 19. This covers a part of marshal responsibilities, chain of command and reporting, as well as the procedures for grievances and sanctions as found in the Marshal's Handbook. And this begins on page 43. So, Roman numeral 18, Marshal responsibilities, chain of command, and reporting. A. Reporting requirements. 1. If you are a marshal at large, 1A. Whatever process your kingdom requires of a warranted marshal. 1B. Reporting on any incident observed either during or related to combat, on which the marshal in charge was required to report. A2. If you are the marshal in charge of an event. 2A. Whatever process your kingdom requires of a warranted marshal. 2B. A brief report on the event, including any incidents in which I. Someone was injured. A3. A fighter or marshal had to be disciplined. 4. Event report shall go to the Principality Knight Marshal or the Kingdom Earl Marshal. Report should not go to the Marshal of the Society. 5. Any other reports that the Earl Marshal of your kingdom requires. If you do not know, write and ask what he or she will want before the event. It is a lot easier that way. 6. If you are the Knight Marshal of a branch. A. Whatever processes your kingdom requires of a warranted marshal. B. Regular reports on the state of fighting in your branch. If there are subsidiary branches, for example, cantons or ridings, this includes summarizing the reports that you get from them. Ask your immediate superior how often you need to do this. C. Any other reports that the Earl Marshal of your kingdom requires. 7. If you are the Principality or Deputy Kingdom Earl Marshal or Knights Marshal. Whatever processes your kingdom requires of a warranted marshal. B. Regular reports on the state of fighting in your principality or region. C. Any other reports that the Earl Marshal of your kingdom requires. 8. If you are the Earl Marshal of a kingdom. 8A. An agreement to serve as Earl Marshal. 8B. Quarterly reporting to the Society Marshal regarding the state of fighting in your kingdom. If you are required to make a similar report to the Crown, a copy to the Society Marshal is sufficient. 8C. If disciplinary action that extends beyond the bounds of a single event is being taken against a fighter in your kingdom, for example, authorizations suspended or revoked, courts of chivalry, a brief account of what was done, to whom and why. If more information is needed, for example, because of an appeal of the action, the Society Marshal will let you know. 8D. Either individual warrants must be provided for each member of the marshalate in your kingdom, or a roster must be maintained. Information on the roster system may be obtained from your kingdom seneschal. This task may be partially delegated to the regional or principality marshal of your kingdom, if any. 8E. Answer correspondence from the Knights Marshals of your kingdom. 9. If you are Marshal of the Society. 9A. On a quarterly basis, report to the President, and thence to the Board, on the state of the Marshalate. 9B. Provide warrants for the Earls Marshal as they are appointed. 9C. Answer correspondence from the Earls Marshal. Now we're going to move to Roman numeral 19, procedures for grievances and sanctions. A. Grievances and disputes. Usually, the combatants are more than willing to correct any problems or breaches of the rules pointed out by a marshal. This is the desired solution: get the problem fixed. However, occasionally a marshal must take action. In the unhappy event that you find it necessary, here is how you shall proceed, in order of preference. 1. Point out the violation, missing armor, grappling during combat, etc., and ask the fighter to correct it. 2. In the case of missing or inadequate armor, do not allow the combatant onto the field until it's been fixed. 3. In the case of violation of the rules during combat, ask the combatant to leave the field, and do not allow combat to resume until he or she has cooled off. This particularly includes removing from the field anyone who has lost his or her temper. 4. If you need support, call on, in order: A. Any other marshals who are present, especially the marshal in charge. 5. A regional deputy or principality earl or knight marshal. 6. The kingdom earl marshal. 7. The local seneschal. 8. The principality or kingdom seneschal. 9. The crown. 10. If the violation cannot be stopped, convince the marshal in charge and the local seneschal to end the event. 11. In any case where voluntary correction is not made after the problem has been pointed out, a detailed written report shall be made to the Earl Marshal as soon as possible after the event. In cases where the fighter has made corrections voluntarily, a report should be sent to the Earl Marshal if a pattern of problems, even minor ones, from the same fighter is occurring. B. Sanctions. B1. In addition to removing an unsafe combatant from the field at the time, long-term sanctions are available. These will normally be applied by the marshalate of the kingdom rather than by a local marshal. Procedures outlined in kingdom law or kingdom marshal policies shall be adhered to when sanctioning any person. B2. Sanctions, which revoke or limit the ability of a fighter to participate for no longer than a single event, even if the event is a multi-day event or war, are not considered to be administrative sanctions, as discussed in the Society Sanction Guide, and do not follow procedures for administrative sanctions. 3. Possible sanctions include: 3A. Revoking the authorization of the individual to fight with a particular weapon. This sanction may be applied whether or not your kingdom does authorizations by weapons forms. 4. Revoking the authorization of the individual to fight at all. 5. Recommendation to the Crown to banish the individual from participation in events. 6. Recommendation to the Board to banish the individual from the Society and its activities. 7. If any of these long-term sanctions are in progress, the Society Marshal shall be informed. 8. If authorization has been revoked, it is acceptable to inform the Earls Marshal of any neighboring kingdoms to which the currently unauthorized fighter might travel. Once long-term sanctions have been applied, a report shall be made to the Marshal of the Society. 9. An authorization from any kingdom may be suspended, revoked, in another kingdom, should it prove necessary and appropriate. Such suspension, revocation, means that the fighter may not fight anywhere in the Society until and unless the issue is resolved. Accordingly, the Earl Marshal of the kingdom issuing the suspension shall inform the Society Marshal and the Earls Marshal of the neighboring kingdoms. 10. Furthermore, if the fighter is subsequently reauthorized, the neighboring earls marshal shall again be notified. And this concludes the sections Roman numeral 18 and Roman numeral 19. We will pick up with Roman numeral 21, which begins our glossary for the Marshall's Handbook, July 2020 edition. I hope you've enjoyed these readings and they have helped to you. They will be updated as needed, and this reading recording will be improved. And as always, if you have any questions regarding the recording, please contact me. If you have questions regarding any of the rules, policies, procedures, check with your kingdom and your marshals, as well as the most up-to-date handbook. And I hope you have